Welcome back. The Tran plays Night of the Dead. We have done quite a bit of work on the base. This is old right here, and I don't actually use them anymore. I only tapped them out maybe twice, and it has given me plenty of stone and iron, though I am eventually running out. We had chests over here for just those containers, and we can see I'm actually low on iron at this point. That's still a lot of iron, but we are still content with it, but not overflowing that we had to kick it out of the house anymore. I can actually carry that into the house if I wanted. I've gone ahead and walled up and stoned up all of the interior. Oh, I guess I missed that one right there. Huh. Alright. We have different switches for our outputs because it wasn't working the way I intended. Now, I have a lot of experience with electrical engineering and Barotron. I single-played that game, so I had to learn all of it myself. It's not, I'm sure it's not as complex as Space Station 13. I tried Space Station 13 for a little bit. I could not figure out how to do anything. But anyways, when I tried
the electricity might explode.
Taking, say, this and putting it to one of these, so this is my battery, and it only has one output. So if I wanted to make this share energy to many things, I was thinking, okay, we'll just put our chief energy income in that tower. You can see over here where all those batteries, that's what those blue and green things are. Those are batteries that lead to here. So this was going to be my HQ, my mainframe, my control unit. We're going to start sending energy to everywhere in the facility. But however, I would try linking, say, we'll just link the batteries 2 and 3. Just as an experiment. Now these are full, but I'm going to explain what happens while I'm playing. So these would eventually start draining because they're feeding energy to other things, and this battery, the first one in the chain, would not distribute energy to both batteries. Now, you might think that's because I have a certain amount of power I'm allowed to transfer. We'll consider that the battery has, just on the base value of it, a 2,500 limit of transfer. It would be sending, say, 1,000 to the second battery, but it would never send anything to the third battery. I don't know why. We have a limit of 2,500, and the bulk battery itself has a limit of 2,500 as the battery eliminator circuit. I've upgraded it. It is now a bulk battery eliminator. If I were to look at this with my wrench, wait, no, this was not. Others I have upgraded, but not this one, because I couldn't get these to work. Yeah, it's just really weird, because all the energy from the tower was supposed to feed here, and these were supposed to be 4 tiers of importance. This one would be the one that has all the power. If nothing else was powered, this one would power my pushers. This one would power my things like ballistas and spike traps inside the base, because I don't really need to spike the enemy. If an enemy gunner or flamer shows up and is not hurt at all, I can still kill him. So this was not as essential. This is for like the turrets inside the base on the unlikely chance an enemy spawns or somehow gets over the wall, which has never really happened. Once I turn off spawns, they don't spawn unless I were to save very close to the wave, and then the game would freak out. It doesn't know how to handle the internal clock anymore, and zombies respawn, trees respawn. So yeah, that was annoying. And this one was something like lights. That's what these were supposed to be, and I just couldn't get them to split. It's either full daisy chain or nothing. So what I've done instead was to make every side its own issue, its own completely contained network. So we got solar panels over here leading to these batteries, which leads ultimately to this flamethrower. So that's where these switches go to. I had a problem with fuel too. I'll mention that once I get done talking.
A new day is beginning.
If the lever is down, that means it's going to try to send power to the flamethrower. That's what I call the car exit, because that's where my garage is. This is called the motorcycle exit, because this is where I build a motorcycle here and just ride off the roof. And then the front ones are always running, because that is an actual legitimate path they can attempt to move in. But the reason why, you can see they're actually aiming at something, and the flames go through. That's why I'm missing some farms. The flames actually go through the wall. I've even tried building concrete walls around the map walls, the brick walls there, and it still goes through. It's fine. I wasn't using those farms anyways, because I have way too much food. You guys are not ever going to finish killing that thing, are you? All right, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what he's doing. He's probably. Are you fighting like a flamethrower guy? No, it's just. Yeah, and we can see all these solar panels are powering the front, because the front will always be on, and of course the front will need energy for drones, which they're not currently in use. The security Great Hall, that's just if there were ever zombies up here. It's really for style points. It's not. This thing will never do anything but shoot my own walls. Although it's pointing out to this great, magnificent looking skylight. I mean, it looks nice. I really like this skylight image. Really, it just shoots my walls, thinking it can see the zombies behind it. Okay, so that's the base main portions. Oh, this right here is my good dump chest, like things I dump but I was going to sort later. These are just mods that are too full to fit inside these storage containers meant for them, which are like here's for shields and here's for guns and then here's for melee. But all of these over here are empty. I could just as easily move them over there, and that's something we might choose to do, but I don't think I really need this many mods. So all I do is when I'm storing weapons, I might stick some of these mods on it and then just stash it. We have items such as companion melee over here, and you can see it has chain handle, electricity generator, and poison gas emitter. These used to contain my good dump items. I'd find something like, say, an iron helmet with 2 sockets on it that is a yellow helmet. It's like, oh, well, that's pretty good. I'll just put this in storage in case I ever need to use it. But the thing is, I would never know it was there because it was a mishmash of things. Again, this is empty. It's just my good dump chest and these my mods right now. So these chests themselves are empty at the moment. So what I eventually get around to doing is, since we had managed to set the base up to defend itself, and I'm at max level, aside from Leia, she's at level 71 or something, I wasn't as needing the experience from every night. So I'd spend some of the night in the base organizing my stuff, such as companion tools. I had maybe like 8 chainsaws I thought were good, such that had plus 10 damage. Like, that's really good. But I don't really send my teammates out to go chop wood or anything. But this is there if I ever decided I needed it. And it's organized. Like, instead of scattered throughout all these chests, I've organized it. That leads us down to here. So this is my best socketed gears on this dummy. It doesn't mean that it has the best stats. Like, this is leather armor. I'm probably never going to use it, but it has 6 slots. This is leather gloves. It has 6 slots. So this is my best socket. It's to represent what's in the chest. That's really what it does. So we can see here that we have some really solid pieces of gear. And let's real quick look at Leia before we talk about the socketed gear. Leia is our newest teammate, and I gave her some stuff that I was able to find without too much digging before I organized all my inventory. Stuff that was decent. Memory, it's okay. Memory is more important, used for chilling coils, and iron armor tends to have chilling on it. It will always have fortress as its first item and then chilling after it. So you see fortress chilling, fortress chilling, fortress chilling. All armor types have something like that as a combo. So fortress first, and then if it has another, it has chilling. Memory is not bad for an iron helmet. That way you can use all those extra chilling coils, because I could count it as saying 6 plus 4 level 3s, right? I could count that, but if I'm never going to level up memory, those 4 chilling coils might as well not even be there. So having a memory helmet is actually pretty good. So these are not bad. Like, +2 to all stats, that's incredible. I'll explain more once we get to the coils, but +2 to all stats is actually really good. +5 to all stats is even better. That's the one I'm used to seeing on leather armor, and I have trouble finding anything higher than +2 in the highest tier gear. These are boots of +5% evasion with 3 sockets, and it's iron shoes. These are really solid pieces of gear. But now that I've organized everything and we've also farmed the last dungeon for a bit, I was able to eventually squeak away some more better things. Let's go ahead and start digging some stuff out. +5 vitality. I just got through talking about how good memory was. That's fine. Vitality, not so good for my coil usage, but this has more sockets. And although it might even be less number of the inherent coils, I don't remember what the other one was. You have to keep in mind that each manual socket that you put things in can be a +3. I'm going to take that. And this one has 7 fortress and 4 sockets. This is going to give us a flat strength bonus. headshot is also pretty cool. This is like purely meant for beating people up. This is my best stuff for sockets. And I guess we'll go with Vitality. This one doesn't have anything on it. It's got 1, 2, 1 for coils and no modifiers. This one has 1, 2, 1 as well, but it has a modifier, so this is already going to be better. Now, I know it doesn't have the fancy evasion, I get that, but if we're going to leverage coils, we need stats and sockets to go with it. Leveling up your stats by themselves won't get you coils, and having coil sockets by themselves won't get you stats. I could put on all the fanciest coil armor, but if I never level them up, because she has 71 stat points as a level 72 character, she's probably going to have trouble getting anything higher than all these level 1s I've given her. I've given her level 1 stats, basically by spreading out my coils throughout her armor, elemental style, rainbow, prismatic, whatever you want to call it, just sort of sharing it. She was easily able to hit level 1. I'm ready to make the plunge of leveling up their stats to give them certain coils. Now, our characters, I've managed to, through the course of the game, find pauldrons that have a 5% invincibility chance, and I put that on all my characters. Then I went through and farmed the second dungeon boss, the giant skeleton monk with a two-handed sword. I farmed him and managed to find something called Francis's Bible. If you look at the red stats, it has invincibility chance when damage taken a range of 5 to 10%, and then increases the duration, which is huge. Okay, so while I was making my characters, my companions, because they're more expendable, right? I was making them be able to activate invincibility. To that end, we eventually found capes to replace those pauldrons. The capes themselves, you can see it doesn't actually have that invincibility chance, but it replaces the iron necklace. Now, it's actually less powerful because this gives 4.4 max HP. If you look at the very top, right next to where it says General Gregory's cloak, it says max HP 4.4. And then negative 4% movement speed, because wearing things makes you slower because it's heavy, right? I'm going to flip back to the pauldrons. The iron necklace. This gives actual damage. 4 hit points is nothing, especially when you're the follower who starts with 200 base hit points. 200 base before any stats, before anything. And then once we start leveling them up and start putting stats, because she's not full on satiety. But yeah, this is actual damage. This is superior to the cape. It's just that the cape is cool, so we're gonna wear the cape. But if we take a look at their actual stats, remember Leia has the least effective gear. She's the third in their team. But as our least effective gear, every time she gets hit, she has a 1 in 5 chance of activating a 7-second invincibility. I know it's 6.7. I'm just rounding here because I'm talking about it. This can activate if I accidentally hit them. So team damage is off. If I did accidentally hit them when I equipped a hammer because I didn't have a chainsaw or an axe on me, and I just wanted some logs real quick to build a quick table, right? Because I was trying to dismantle some things or something. I just needed a table right then and there. So I equipped a hammer and swung it, and apparently that does splash damage to my teammates, even though team damage is currently off, just as a default setting in the game. So that if I build a spike trap, like too close to my teammates, that can also activate their invincibility. If I run over them with the car, that can activate invincibility. That's it right there. If they fall from a height, like they climb onto my car and then jump off because they can't figure out how to pathfind to me, they do that all the time while I'm searching my car for items or depositing stuff. That can also activate. So it basically activates anytime they get hit. However, we're going to take things one step higher than. Now that's from me being able to leverage all this stuff that we've been accumulating. And then we have only talked about the sockets. This is my item find set. For example, this David's Artificial Hand. That comes from the third boss in the radar area. He has a gun on this artificial hand. It's like sticks out of his shoulder. Actually, let me put it on, I'll show you. However, the boss never uses the gun in the shoulder. He has a gun that he just pulls out and shoots you, but it's in his normal hands. I don't know why they bothered putting a gun in his hand. Maybe in the early animation model he used to use this gun. I don't know. But yeah, this is kind of pointless. You can't fire with it. If I punch or attack, it doesn't fire. It doesn't do anything. It does have a cool ability called Airstrike, but that's its own problem right there, and I'll talk about that too. Yeah, this is what I put in the item find chest, because that's really the only reason I would keep this around, is if I ever needed airstrike and this airstrike ability, or I'm sorry, item find and airstrike ability. So the reason, was that like a chicken? Okay, so the reason why that airstrike is a problem, I managed to farm enough of these to give my team. And I was thinking like, okay, I'll get the explosion resistance in the coils. We can easily get 5 strength, 5 endurance, and 20% explosion resistance if I slap on some ignition of fortress coils. This was the game plan, okay? So I was thinking, okay, I will get my whole party. I farmed a lot of artificial hands. There's the reassembly yard on the top of the building. That's just all my scrap. So this would be for my companions: 96% explosion resistance, 86% explosion resistance, 82% explosion resistance. I just had to combine these with my 20% from coils, and I would be able to airstrike the enemy. That's cool, right? Really good, really good. Except here's the problem. Because my teammates don't do as much damage, if we go to follow a character, they have a minus 50% base. I know it says 36% here, but that's because she's got memory stat, damage to zombies up. Right? But otherwise, those will say 50%. Additionally, she has evil nature principle. So she does half her damage to zombies, so half her damage period. So I equipped everybody with a vital stinger, with execution chance, the highest execution chance I could find. And here's what I think happens. And I loaded when this would happen, but the airstrike would come down, because I was trying to figure out why my characters were constantly dying. My teammates, because I had them line up and attack zombies, because I was trying to figure something out. And I think what was going on is they had a 15% chance, maybe 5 to 15% chance to make the David's artificial hand, which just goes on the Padre slot. It's the thing with the gun I was talking about, to make that happen. And then 5% chance to execute anything with the airstrike. And I recorded it and just sort of sat there and let the game run while I was recording it. And then I would just sort of move through the video tracker, because I could fast forward, rewind, whatever. And it looked like my teammates were dying when airstrikes would come on down. But here's the thing. When they do airstrikes, it doesn't actually hurt each other. Except that suddenly, at some point, they would just randomly die. They could take 10 airstrikes and it wouldn't scratch them in the slightest. And then suddenly they just die from the next airstrike. The only thing I can think of is they were activating their execution chance with the airstrike, which is a 15%, we'll say 10%, because 15 is the best. 10% chance, and then you need another 5% after that. So a 5% within a 10% happening. Yeah, that would explain it. So, and unfortunately, we don't combine Vital Stinger and Airstrike anymore. Alright, so we've gone to the item find chest. Alright, let's talk about move speed. There's not too much here. Everything does have a limit on upgrades. So you can go up to plus 10 for anything that is yellow color, like rare, or anything that is unique color, red. However, blues can only go up to plus 6. So even if I were to find, for example, these shoes, iron shoes, they're my best movement speed item, because I could upgrade this to plus 10. And that'll decrease its movement speed with every upgrade. What I mean by decrease its movement speed is it's at minus 8% right now, negative 8, okay? Actually, let's compare these armors. This one has 11.9 penalty, but this unupgraded one has a 14%. So every time you upgrade a piece of armor, it is a little bit easier to move around it. Well, since I have these yellow iron shoes with an 8% movement speed, that is actually, in the end, if I were to max upgrade this, it would be faster than my blue leather shoes, because my blue can only go plus 6. Yeah, these are all movement speed items. If I ever needed to just race around. Doing dungeons is also good for moving around, but we do want item find for dungeons, which is what I'm currently using right now, is item find set. It's just colored in military uniform. I have so many military uniforms because pretty much every dungeon is full of... except, I guess not the second dungeon. The first dungeon is the military base. That's where the Walter Wagner gives you his access card, the blue access card. That's full of soldier zombies. It's guarded by Victor Strain. His last name's Strain. I thought the game was just poorly translated, and his name was like Victor. He was a mutant Strain. No, he's a mutated, and then first name, last name, mutated Victor Strain. All right. Second dude was called Francis Necros. Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever want to work with a guy who calls himself Necros, but sure. He does not have soldier zombies as predominantly in his area because it's a church. The third area is in a radar base, a military base. full of soldier zombies. Fourth area we've been to, Special Operations Command. It's a prison, so it has lots of prison zombies, but also a lot of soldier zombies. So yeah, we just have so many military uniforms right now. And I got tired of looking like the desert warriors from Star Wars. That's what I feel like I look like with all this stuff here. They're not Jawas. Jawas are the short guys, I think. Alright, so these chests themselves are empty because anytime I would find like an iron piece, if it belongs somewhere such as move speed, it'd go over there. But these are what I consider the best of the... It is meant to contain the best copper, iron, or bone if we ever decided we wanted to do that. The reason for this is bone gives you flat damage. So if I wanted to make a damage build, okay. Maybe I wanted to leverage like a hammer and do splash damage on the ground. That's a possibility. Iron is good for protection, and copper is good for criticals. So if I wanted to build a critical set, and I obviously don't have a lot of good copper pieces, because that's the highest tier stuff. Alright, so I've been able to sort things out as I've been talking about all my items here. And this is my all stats chest. The reason why all stats is so incredibly good is because you can only ever get to level 99. And to get to the best coils, you need typically 30 in 2 stats or 50 in a singular stat. If you only have 98 stat points to distribute, you can get maybe 150 and 130 and then call it a day. So with an all stats, that not only knocks off 5 from the stat itself, but if it's a hybrid stat, which is going to be most of these, that's going to be knocks off 10. Right? Because you only have to level up Vitality to 25 and Endurance to 25 for this. So yeah, all stats is really good. But the problem is, you need 20 coils for one of them and 15 for the other. That's 35 coil. Even if you have max upgraded those coils, that's going to be 12 sockets. Because 12 times 3 is 36. So you're going to use 12 sockets just to get a hybrid complete. Yeah, you kind of want to balance your all stats with your coil sockets, but if you had to pick between the two, coil sockets is superior because you can level your stats up. You have points to spare, right? Grace has points to spare. We're probably gonna reskill her. I've been leveling up her defensively as the game has gone on, but I've gone ahead and planned out my coils, and we're gonna go endurance, memory, and vitality. I think it is. Yeah, these 3. Mostly because of the coils that we can leverage with this. With Life Leech, we need Vitality and Endurance, and if we wanted any healing passively, that would be Memory and Vitality. Self-healing will be less valuable to me than Life Leech, even if we're not doing that much damage, only because we're going to have some Vitality and Endurance trying to get towards, let's see here, this Invincibility coil. See how we have Endurance here? So yeah, you kind of have to figure out what you can branch out to. Imagine if it was Path of Exile nodes, right? If you happen to be in the area, maybe getting this 5% critical chance along the way could be useful. We have Evasion head torso pieces. This is where we can start mixing and matching some pieces. Like this one is a copper helmet with 5% evasion rate. Evasion hands, feet, evasion accessories. That will include pauldrons as well. And then critical, just anything that has critical damage, critical rate, anything with critical, we can start making those kind of builds. Even this one has a 10% critical damage. I know it also has evasion. I just have to decide what's more a selling point for that particular piece of gear. Right? If it's leather armor and it has something like all stats and protection or something, which protection is not a valid stat for it, but let's pretend it did. It has all stats plus 2 and protection plus 10%. I would put it in the all stats chest because if I need protection, I'll just wear iron. So we were able to sort everything out, and then while I was farming the bosses so that I could get our gear, I made myself a full upgraded set of Victor's formal uniform. You can see on the right side it says tier 6. This starts out as tier 2. It costs you 25 ingots and gold bars to upgrade it from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5, and so forth. It doesn't cost you any gold bars to go from 1 to 2, but there are not that many tier 1 in the game. So to get from tier 2 to tier 3, you would need 25 aluminum ingots. 3 to 4, you would need 25 duralumin. Then 4 to 5, that would be titanium. And then 5 to 6, that'd be titanium gold, if I remember correctly. So this cost me roughly 1,000 won per item, I think it was. I don't remember if that, I mean, it's not going to be an exact number, but that's what I calculated with the bank rates we were going at that time. We had enough gold bars because I've been leveraging save loading. I would see what the next day was, and then I'd write that down. And I did this for about a week. I cranked the game speed up to as fast as possible, and then I'd check on the computer every few minutes, write down what the new bank price was, and I'm using that as kind of my sports almanac from Back to the Future, where Marty he brings back with him like the Hall of Fame or something, and people can make bets based off of that and win. Like if they know the Mets will win this day, you can say the Mets will win. I'll bet $5,000. I knew what the bank price was going to be each day, so I managed to get more money every day. But each one of these pieces costs roughly 2,000 won to do that, to buy gold bars and buy the ingots with it. Some of the ingots I had, like aluminum ingots, I've got that. But I don't happen to have titanium gold with me. The reason why I wanted to level these up to tier 6, you can see that on the second stat from the top, it says evasion rate. Every tier I increase this, the evasion rate will go up. Also, if I increase this to plus 10, it's at plus 8 right now, so there's tier and then there's pluses. Reforging. If I upgrade this to plus 10, we can also get the evasion rate, the second from the top, to go up. The evasion rate that is below strength and memory, those are the things that are rolled throughout the item that are random. They're the random aspects of this item, of this object. You can find other Victor's uniform, and the top 3 things will be the same all the time. If you're tier 6 plus 4, your tier 6 plus 4 will be the exact same as mine for the first 3 stats. But the strength, memory, evasion, those are things I randomly rolled. Well, because we defeated the boss, the General Gregory, actually it's not because we defeated him. In the area of General Gregory, there's a book that gives us the ability to learn blacksmithing level 10. So we can equip all of these. This one's not, I don't know why. I'll have to find, I thought I had an evasion one of these, but I'll look for it. Alright, so we go and start slapping these on.
Feels rewarding to work hard, doesn't it?
And we'll need a safety in my weapons chest. Take a look at my evasion stat at the moment. Let's see, defense, no, recovery, shield. There it is. I'm at 83% right now. And we can actually upgrade this to plus 10 because, as I mentioned, in the area of that last boss, the SOC, Special Operations Command, we got the ability to reforge equipment to plus 10. But, you know, another way we could also increase our stats is we'll make a sausage, and then a sandwich. Eat that. We're up to 93%. Go ahead and try to reforge some of this. Now, to get this reforged, we're going to need copper wire. I do not. I ran out of copper redoing our entire base here. Although I have so much iron and stuff. The whole reason we were doing this many digging machines was to get. I'm assuming there's guys just on the other side of the wall. We have some we can go and make into copper wire. We have like 200, maybe almost 300. Yeah, 270. And then we had 3 stacks of copper. I'll make 40 copper wire. You also need copper wire to make coils, which I haven't done yet. This is as much clay as I found throughout the whole game. Alright, so let's go ahead and start reforging. Let's go ahead and upgrade the Victor's uniform, Victor's shoes, Victor's formal gloves. This upgrading the safety or the mutated lion head will not get me more evasion because it's only going to increase the inherent values, the protection, damage, and movement speed of the lion head. Good, that will increase, but it will not increase the memory or evasion rate because those are randomly rolled things for it. We have plus 2% evasion on that, plus 5% evasion on that, plus 5% evasion on that. We are now up to 93.5. I know I have more evasion. Oh wait, I equipped the wrong. Okay, I was wondering. This was the safety that I had upgraded. It was very expensive to upgrade. This is the safety that I had recently found that gives me plus 20% evasion rate. The protection stat is horrible, but if I can get my evasion rate to 100%, it's going to be less important that I worry about protection. This protection stat is 70. That's cool. Let's go and put this on. Now I am at 100% evasion. Actually, let me see. Does this make me avoid fall damage as well? Can I evade falling? Can I evade the ground? I didn't take damage from his hit. I evaded that. He technically contacted me, so I'm taking poison damage. But I didn't actually take damage from the hit itself. Let me drink something that gives me poison resistance. Now, I don't know if this is a thing that the game developers had as an oversight, but the detox drink you can make only lasts for an hour, which is just as good as the rotten stuff. For example, if I drank rotten cola, I might get fire resistance for 1 hour. But if I drank a fresh cola, that's 6 hours. If I made my own cold drink, that's 12 hours. Okay, so everything kind of has its own make thing, such as hot drink, that's 12 hours of cold resistance. But if I drink rotten coffee, that's 1 hour. Fresh coffee, 6 hours. So you see that the rotten stuff 1 hour, the stuff that you find 6 hours, and the stuff that you make 12 hours, right? Well, detox does not follow that same parameter. It's a 1 hour drink, and I think it's an oversight because when you look at steak platter, which does require fresh healthy juice for 6 hours, you get a 100% for 12-hour poison resistance. So yeah, we can make the 12-hour version, but I think the detox drink might not be intended. I say might because it does mention, if you look at the description, it says detox drink used to remove poison status effect. So you drink this when you're poisoned, I guess, but are you really going to be eating and drinking in the middle of a battle? I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and drink it now to get the 1 hour freedom and let these guys attack us. They should no longer be able to do damage to me, period, I think. The screen is flashing, but my health bar does not seem to be decreasing. I'm at 173 right now. I actually like it that in the game, the zombies are constantly knocking each other out of the way, which is funny. So whenever a zombie leaps, it often sends its own fellow zombies flying. Oh, okay, I didn't know that could happen. I've never just sat there. Okay, so that's a grapple attack, apparently, like in Dead Rising. That doesn't get evaded, but everything else gets evaded. Because these normal hits, like that was his power hit right there. Yeah, I don't see my health draining, even from that. Alright, thank you for your service. You guys showed up at the right time, actually. Combine that with my life leech, and I have natural life leech from the research materials. That's where we bought the blue chips worth $1,000 at the mall. The muscle research chip from the biology lab, or whatever it's called. It was in the mall, the 3rd floor. It had biology written next to it. Metahumans or something. Basically turned me into a cyborg, I think. Or mutant. One of the two. Yeah, we can hit 100% evasion. I just don't typically wear it because I'm wanting equipment drop bind. The top of my base looks like this, just called the Reassembly Yard. Here's all the uniques. And it's not, don't be like startled, because this is all what you call trash uniques. These are the nutcrackers that didn't get saved in my base. As in, I've got nutcrackers that I am keeping, but these are just garbage. I'll probably take these mutated rabbit foot out as I'm organizing things and move it downstairs to my companion chests. And then here's just things that I was holding on to make level 6 items. I might save and then take all these level 3 items, the yellow ones, and then reassemble them, hoping for a good iron armor. That's why I'm saving the yellow one. The blue ones I don't care too much about, but the yellow ones I do care about. So we can make iron armor. As you can see, we are full iron here. They are meant to be my damage sponges. Yeah, since I now have chests that are not just junk chests, so things like I might use on a rainy day, which never happens because I wouldn't know that I had that particular item anywhere. Nor would I necessarily want to go looking for it. But yeah, I might move those mutated knives down and put them in companion tools, where there's gas masks and chainsaws or... Alright, that is our base setup. As far as coils go, I have made a game plan for everybody. And I'm gonna start coiling them up, but I'm going to need to buy about 300 clay pieces if I want to finish my coil estimates, I guess. Because I planned it out, and I'm pretty much going to be relying on Fortress. Fortress is the thing I'm going to be putting our teammates on. Because first off, Iron Armor's inherent Fortress, so you should probably try to leverage it. Second, Fortress is really good for defense, naturally. And we want to get 10% chance of invincibility. So yeah, I'm going to need to buy a lot of clay to get this fortress going on. I could dismantle some of these others, but unfortunately, just so you know, I do combine or reforge, upgrade my +1 coils to +2 to save space. But if you were to dismantle +2, you get 1 clay. You dismantle +1, you get 1 clay. By combining them so energetically, you know, because I want to save space, I am not really able to dismantle them for the same costs, which is fine. I never actually built these, I found them. And I don't think I would dismantle them anyways because we have enough chests to hold on to them, and I might change my build in the future. I might maybe want them to be some sort of attack build and give them something else. Right now they have the execution blade, so it doesn't really matter too much what their attack is. Though I have made it tier 6 anyways and given it +8 stat. But maybe I want to give them, say, this Berserker's Fury, which increases the damage that they'll take by 17%, you can see on the bottom side, but increases their damage by 93% with a flat +50. Remember that in this game, the flat is always more beneficial than the percentage. I know that sounds backwards, but that's because, for example, it says Vitality +10, damage +6%. When a weapon normally has that 6% or 3%, it's generally what you see, 3%. Okay, 6% just means it rolled that damage value twice and gave me 2 bonuses. And so they stack together to make 6%. But yeah, if you see something that has damage 3%, that's 3% of the overall weapon damage. You'll use this Nutcracker as an example. That's 42 damage with a +5 damage and a +5%. Okay, what is 5% of 42? Well, an easy way to figure that out is what's 10% of 42? Okay, 4. Then what's half of that? 2. That second plus damage value, that means that's +2 damage. That is less than my flat +5. And that's how this works. So yeah, generally speaking, the percentages are not as good. But of course, when you get your weapon up to +10 tier 6, then it can squeak out that much more damage. I did try several different variations of the Berserker's Fury to figure out what could squeak out the most damage. And yes, I can verify that at the beginning, the +6% is not as good as other Berserker Furies. But once I get them to the end game and level them up to compare with others, it was as good or if not better. Now, of course, each one of these do have different stats. Like this one, if you look at the red numbers down at the bottom, or red labels, it's a +29 flat damage value, which is not particularly high. I have found one that did +100, but it wasn't on a particularly good axe drop because I was looking for General Gregory pieces, so I thought this is not really worth the time invested to find that boss, because if I accept that axe, then I have to get to the boss again. Now I have managed to create my own exploit to creating the dungeon for free and without zombies. So that does help make it a lot easier. It's definitely an exploit, but here's the thing. It doesn't actually save me that much time, because even with the dungeon fully populated by zombies, I can still run through. Because the zombies typically, we'll say 80-90% of the time, when they see you, they'll stand there and roar at you, meaning you just run past them. Very few of them will actually swing as their first action. Very few. And by the way, if you did decide to run through that dungeon, I would recommend that you have poison resistance on, because if you got hit by poison, you would slow down. That should get you up to speed with where we're at with our party. I still have some farming to do because I want to get a third cape for her. I don't have the full Gregory set yet. So I did find some shoes, but they were always one socket, so I would load. But if we get the full Gregory set equipped, let's see here. He's on. Take his bow out. And we'll take one of these gloves that I threw in my scrapyard. Yeah, I don't even have a single this +2 arrow projectile. I don't even have... These gloves should probably not be up here. I should probably move them. I was in the middle of organizing things, as you've heard me say. Okay, let me just go ahead and equip this bow and start firing at stuff. So what Gregory's set is about is doing frost arrows. I don't know why, but that's his thing. I'm not sure what kind of military unit typically uses a longbow. Okay, we'll try to find... there's a tree over there. We'll do that as our target practice. Alright, the reason why his set is about arrows is it starts spraying arrows all over the place. Okay, it hit over there. So basically what's going on is every one of those epicenters of the frost explosions, that's where another arrow of mine flew. So you see these decals right there? Let me shoot at this wall. Each one of these decals is one of my arrows, and then explodes in little frost shards. So if I were to find a whole wave of zombies, I would just basically do that. It's like a grenade launcher. Oh, I did run into this also. I did run into a bug where all my fuel from these flamethrowers disappeared. It wasn't that they turned on at any point. I loaded them all up with 1,500 fuel, and then I linked it up to this fuel generator. So that, because I'm running into, I have so much fuel. That's something I can just produce infinitely. I can't produce bullets infinitely, but I can produce fuel infinitely. And there's no reason for it to have ever turned on, because you can't save fuel in the generator. You have to go up to the generator, throw fuel in, and then it turns on automatically. So I had linked the fuel generator to the flamethrowers to use up all my fuel, but instead my fuel just despawned out of these things. That was really annoying. I managed to get them back by loading the game, but no, there was no way that they could have ever turned on because the generator was off, because I did not ever go to it to put fuel in. That's my oh no button if this thing were ever get so flooded that I couldn't handle it, but I don't think that's ever going to be the case. It is day 34. We're currently scavenging this neighborhood area right here where the cursor is, and I did run into a pretty nasty bug. Alright, I think I will have included the footage of me talking about how I lost about 8 flamethrowers worth of 1,500 fuel each. It was impossible for it to have turned on. Yeah, I swear, I'm not just like, oh, it was an accident, you don't know what you're... No, it was a bug.
Let's take
And
it easy.
I ran into another bug. All this equipment that my teammates are wearing, this is the gear that their real gear here. It's the iron gear, and this is just for equipment buying, because we're just cruising around through the towns. Well, I had stored all of this into my APC, because it doesn't need to take up one of the chests that I might use for building. So I had put it inside the armored vehicle, as well as an entire canister of fuel. We'll say 4 stacks of it. After doing one run of the SOC area over here, and I returned back to my armored vehicle, everything inside was gone. There was no mistake for that. All right, nobody joined my server, which is single player, and I'm not even on Steam right now. It's like I'm literally in offline mode. No one joined. No one took anything out of my armored vehicle. I just went down, farmed the boss. I got 2 good things: a new desert helmet that had higher drop rate, and like a 5-slot evasion iron armor. Good stuff. So I was returning back to my APC. I was going to compare it with my existing iron armor for my companions. Like, where'd it go? So I lost those 2 things, because I wasn't going to keep that save with the good drops and lose all my other gear. It's all the gear that my teammates have in their pockets right now. That was the gear that's in my APC that I lost. Let me show you how we're going to farm some coils, because I really like the Purification Coils. Actually, they don't have it on them right now. Let me look at me. This one right here, you only need 3 Purification Coils to get maximum chemical gas resistance, which is mostly for mines, but maybe if the green spitter hits you, I don't know what else could apply the chemical damage. That's when you turn green. Poison is purple. I don't know what else applies this, but this is a real easy thing to get 100% resistance for. So I'm trying to farm this, which you can only get in Western Grassland and Snowfield. So we're in the Western Grassland now. Let's go ahead and show you. How I try.
Now we can move a bit faster.
I have to save about this far, and then I drive into town, and I hit 3 buildings that I know have coil slots or coil boxes. So if you've played 7 Days to Die, which I would assume you probably have if you're watching this kind of video, Night of the Dead, you know that many, if not all, buildings, they're called points of interest, and they have a reward box at the end, whether it's like a weapon box or whatever. Well, there are those kind of boxes in this game too. For most houses. We'll say 80% of buildings.
I'll drive next time.
The first one on the right has coil boxes. I just missed 3 times in a row there. Alright, we're gonna keep them off of me. We're gonna search this one. And no purification. So this is already a bust. I would load at this point. There's 3 boxes I want. And by the time I have made that first box appear, the other 2 boxes have already spawned their loot. So no amount of reloading will change this. But yeah, I want to try for all 3 having purification coils, because I only have about 5 of them. And I need 27 if I want my... Actually, no. We have 4 people now. I need 36 if I want to max out my purification coils. And you can't create these, by the way. I still haven't created any with clay, because clay hasn't been on sale yet. I mean, it's probably going to save me a couple thousand, and I have probably 200,000 gold. It's not like I couldn't afford it, but I just want to save money anyways. It's not that I need the coils at this exact moment. Sometimes zombies will be in here when I enter, and they also gradually spawn too. There's no mistake that you could just sort of stand there and watch them spawn, typically on the bed. And then this is the last coil box. So I do a blitzkrieg, and I try to get all the coils, and I'm hoping to get, I'm getting chewed up here, I'm hoping to get 3 purification coils. Now I haven't done anything like this yet for the coils, otherwise I'd have more than 5. But I figure this is almost the only reason why, instead of running the dungeon with my infinite keycards, which is totally an exploit, instead of running the dungeon, this is the only reason why I'm searching the town. Looks like Leah fell in the drink and teleported back up. And this one is also no purification coil. So that's 3 out of 3 busts. No good. But yeah, I would load, and we would make sure that I don't know, I'll probably give up before I ever get 3 out of 3. I might accept 2. We'll see how rare these are. But so far, this is the, out of 3 attempts, I've only gotten 1 out of 9 boxes. So that's not really good odds so far. Okay. Let me go back. Oh, by the way, about the keycard stuff, this is not justification for it, though I've always thought the whole cooldown stuff or limited access to resources like stamina and energy that you buy on mobile games. I don't even have a single game on my phone. But I always thought that stuff was baloney. A whole bunch of nonsense. And I'm glad that there's a lot of pushback these days about microtransactions. But people should have never really started getting into DLC in the first place. Still, that's a rant to another day. But the key cards to open those dungeons, they were only added to the game possibly as of 1.0, which is when I got hold of the game. From what I can tell, reading the Steam forums, people before this, you could just enter the dungeon anytime you want. And it sounds like you could just have a friend open the dungeon door and just respawn the boss as soon as you've killed him. You guys could divide the loot later. So just sit there at the boss. Way easier and more, I guess, gimmicky than what we get here. And then they decided, you know what? It wasn't already enough that I'm making you get the worst RNG possible. We're gonna make you have to roll for cards too in your loot, or pay 400 won for it. Remember, that's the money here in this game. But yeah, and when I say the worst RNG possible, that's because you're gonna get stuff that has no bearing on anything for your items. It's going to be something like code reinforcement on a flamethrower or whatever. And even if you had fire reinforcement on your flamethrower, the damage over time effect is so pitiful that it's really not worth stacking that. You might remember when you attack a punch machine with your damage over time, it'll say something like 40 damage. We swing for about 600 apiece. All right, so I'm going to get back to the grind here, and yes, watch out for losing your items. So far, it's happened to me twice that I know about, and both times did involve containers with fuel. But that might just be a coincidence. To that effect, however, I've isolated my save files, and I'm doing the following from here on out to minimize the pain. All right, what you're looking at is my search bar, and I'm not saying you have to download Void Tools, Everything. That's what it's called. It's the company's Void Tools, and the program name is Everything. But this is the search that I run. It's star, that's for directory, LF, which I assume stands for the game company, which is Jack 2 Studios, but I don't know why it's LF. Maybe it's different in their original native language. Saved/SaveGames/star/star LFPlay. And as you're making saves, make sure that this value is going up. So when I start the game, as soon as I load in, I just save on test 1, test 2, test 3. I just save. And if that file has dropped by 30 kilobytes, I go ahead and load the game again. Since doing this, I haven't had the problem where my items have just miraculously disappeared. I have had instances, however, that the save file increases by a couple kilobytes, decreases by a couple kilobytes, or whatever the case, each time I make the load and save in the exact same spot. It's weird. But this is just something I'm doing now as to avoid losing my items, which is something that no one should have to do, but there you go. If you are playing this game and you don't want to lose your items, you may want to keep an eye out on your save file. I don't know if it's solely dedicated to fuel or if it's something else. I did see on the Steam forums a user has mentioned that he has lost fuel as well. Okay, it's day 35. We're back in base. when we are able to get Golden Koi on discount, we'll go ahead and buy that for Grace and myself, because we were leveling our characters up as we were playing the game. But we need, for her, I want her to get 30 memory, so she can get parry upgrade level 3. And of course that would also raise her Chilling Coil to level 2, which I really like the freeze ability. Level 3 would be awesome, but we don't have enough coil sockets or attribute points for that. So this is a fairly solid setup, I think. This is where I'm expecting her to be as we reskill her. She's just going to have parry upgrade level 3, code level 2, and I think that's the only changes that's going to happen as a result of this. Yeah, she needs to go from 18 memory to 30. While she enters battle, she will equip this Vital Stinger. That'll add +5 memory, but unless I give her a shield that gives her another 5 memory, she's not going to hit that very easily. And I don't want to limit her too much, because I might find a shield with +5 memory, but it might not have much else with it. Yeah, that's the setup that I plan on having our teammates be using. So we take a look at Kimberly. Her coils are pretty much set the same way. I want 15 in Chill, 15 in Toxic, 30 Fortress, and 15 in Resistance. Now, her stats are all low, so her levels in coils are low, because you need to meet the attribute requirement. So we're going to boost her endurance from 32 to 49. Her judgment from 11 to 29. Her memory from 13 to 26. Leaving us with 31 stat points left over, and we're going to pump the rest of that into strength, boosting her to 39. And yes, I did stop just shy of certain benchmarks. The reason for that is watch when I hit decision, confirmed. Suddenly I'm at 50 endurance, 30 judgment, 30 memory. How did I get all of that? So here's what really happened. When we reach the next tier or level in our coil, we get extra attribute points to go with it. And I created a web of notes. So I took a screenshot of what we see here, and then I wrote down what was required to get to the next level and what attribute it gave me. And this web went something like this. If I wanted to reach invincibility level 3, by reaching invincibility level 2 or 3, we got more memory. That memory then chained into cold, giving me judgment. That judgment would then chain into super armor, giving me strength, which ends there, by the way, because the strength is not used in any of these coils. But that's just an example of what I did while planning things out. And it wasn't that bad. It was actually kind of interesting, kind of fun. Coils, I can understand why people don't even want to think about it. If you don't like math, if you don't like trying to fine-tune your stuff, I get it. It's a little annoying because you have to change out your coils if you change so much as a single piece of armor. Here's what I mean. If we go downstairs, and I reach into this socketing chest. So let's say that we want to change to copper armor for whatever reason. Maybe we need resistances, maybe I need the memory stats, whatever the reason, or maybe I just want to put on some of my unique gear for the bonuses such as ranged weapon damage. Well, this gives me 4 resistance coil. And if we take a look at her chest piece, it gives me 2 fortress, 1 chilling, and 1 resistance. Also the different number of sockets. But by having extra resistance coils in the copper armor, I would probably take off my helmet, pull out resistance coils, and to supplement my missing fortress coils, put fortress coils into both pieces. So it is a bit annoying if you were to switch gears, which is why I hadn't really done any serious work into coils until now, because this is a fairly decent piece of armor. It gives me 1 attribute and it has 6 coil sockets. Good. We're working on that at the moment. I went through and bought a bunch of, when they are on discount, I went and bought a ton of Puraru so that I could get sashimi. This is the Puraruku is the first fish we found that gives large fish meat, and I need that for equipment drop food. And I figure if there are other large fish later down the line, they'll probably be more expensive than this. So when Puraruku went on sale, I bought a bunch. I bought, I think, like 396. That's what I buy things typically in bulk of, because it's 99 times 4. We bought 99 goldfish, 99 angelfish, and I can see that I get 2 stacks. So I'll be chopping these guys up later. But I bought an entire set of 396 processed scales. I don't think I bought... No, I didn't buy these fish bones. When I was carving up the Puraruku to make sashimi, I ended up with a lot of fishbone. So I probably didn't even need to do the process scales because I probably have enough scales here. But I hate fishing, so this is what I did. And then we bought 396 clay. And apparently throughout the entire game, we farmed 53 clay. Well, I did create a couple coils to get to this point. I think maybe 2 resist coils and 2 fortress coils, roughly, ballpark. Because I'm making all my teammates be defensives and stats. Not only am I trying to avoid anybody ever getting downed, but your followers have a 50% damage reduction. And that's why I gave him the Vital Stinger. Damage reduction doesn't matter if you're just going to execute. So I'm going to continue to leverage their defensive stat because any points of damage I give to them is only half as good. Why did I give her 39 points of strength? Why did I give her 31 points of strength? Because there was no other stat that she needed. So at least some damage is better than none, because it's only a 5% execution rate. I'm going to continue fine-tuning these coils throughout the night, and I'll see you when there's something to show off. It is day 37 right now, and I'm going to show you something. We're going to reassemble unique equipment. In the past, I said that I was waiting to see if we can farm better versions of the stuff, since I was getting like a chest piece and boots of the Desert Strider set by recycling my tier 2 items. And while that has never really changed, going to different locations, waiting for different days, it's never really changed it. I was able to get enough pieces to begin experimenting. So on my first pass, I went ahead, just did all my level 2 pieces, and then I loaded the game and did it with the tier 3 pieces. And then I loaded the game again, and I tried to mix and match, thinking like, okay, well, the 7th set of tier 2 items I turn in give me like a really good item. And then maybe like the 8th set of tier 3 items I turn in give me a really good item. So I tried mixing and matching, and it doesn't turn out to be that way. From what it seems like, rather than using up an existing string or seed, it's saved for all combinations. Let me go ahead and take all my items. So these are the things we're gonna take from our teammate and turn in. So let's say I were to turn in these 5 items, or any 5 items. The tier 3 that is generated, we'll consider that item number 1. If I were to take back these items and then turn in from a different teammate's a higher level tier 3 stuff, that will be their item number 1. So every tier of loot that I get is going to be like this one's boots. It might be easiest to show you rather than trying to explain it. We'll stop on the first really good piece. There, that's the one. So this is just a regular bow. This bow has a plus 40% headshot and 40% code reinforcement and 193% headshot damage addition on top of that. So this is a pretty interesting bow. But look how many sockets this item has. I consistently get a good number of sockets from the reassembly. So I don't know if the reassembly uses a slightly different loot table, but you don't normally see something like a plus 40%. So it may be that it gets extra rolls on its item, because the all stats generally comes in +2 or +5 flavors. So this one tells me that it may have rolled all stats +2 twice. Same thing for the headshot and code reinforcement. So I do suspect that there might be a little bit of a skew towards getting more beneficial items through the reassembly table here. All right, we're going to say that the 6th item and the 8th item are really good. I'm going to load and show you kind of how we approach this topic. Let's go ahead and take a couple tier 3 items until we find something also good from that. Actually, we'll just do a take all. Then we'll just take these tier 3s. Okay, the 6th item here is a bad Doberman. So I'm going to go ahead and load the game, and I'll show you. I'll create 6 tier 4 items, and I'm going to get the Doberman as the 6th item, even though this is the overall 15th item we've produced. And then I'll show you that I can still get the Desert Pathfinder. I can even still get this Rage Remover, which is the 6th item we've produced, the +4 to all stat. Let's go ahead and load again. We've loaded the game. By the way, this is a shield that's hidden behind the guillotine. It's a useless tier 6 shield. I'll be mentioning this later during the recording, because I'm actually recording these out of order. I have finished recording the day 40 story mission, and then I remembered that I had made a save here to talk about how coiling works. I mean how reassembly works. Alright, you remember the 6th tier 4 item that we produce will be a Doberman with plus 10 memory. The 6th tier 3 item bow we produce will be a bow with extra 40% headshot and like 193 unique item headshot bonus. And then the 8th tier item we produce will have something like 6 or 7 sockets. Just a really ungodly amount of amazing sockets. And all of these things are seeded by their tier production, I suppose. The first time through we did this, we went through for the tier 2 items first. This time let's just go and grab a bunch of the tier 3s, and we're... Alright, here's the tier 4 6th item. I have trouble saying the word 6th item, plus 10 memory. Alright, that's the bad Doberman I talked about, but you can see that it's the exact same Doberman. Okay, let's go ahead and toss all these things onto Leia, and then take the things from Grayson. Just in case you wonder, it doesn't matter which items we use. We'll go and just grab these vital stingers to start us off with. Let's see how many things Kimberly has. Kimberly has a bunch of other tier 2 items as well. Take this. Actually, we can probably just do a take off. That's fine. Alright, let's go ahead and start producing these. For a second there, I thought I used the wrong tier of items to produce. Okay, here's that same bow, the Rage Remover, with the plus $4 stats, plus 40% headshot. Here's the same Desert Pathfinder. So all of this stuff is still seeded, or if I think that's what you would call it. But even changing things up between the tiers doesn't matter. So I would say that if you were playing this game, just go ahead and take all your things, just chuck it in the unique equipment reassembly. Chances are you're going to get usable stuff out of this, because if I keep going, I went to about, I think 27 things is what I converted. We'll say out of those 27 pieces I get back, maybe a good 4 of them were decent items, like not bad. And which is a lot better than these drops that I have found. Like if I were to find 27 items in the world, I would not even find maybe one thing there that is good. Really. Because I have so many of these that I have loaded up my 3 companions with gear to get rid of. And I don't find stuff like this when I find enough to fill up 3 companions, which is more than 27 items. I know that there's only 18 here. Well, that's because this is all of Grace's stuff. Kimberly's still carrying stuff. But yeah, we have a 5-socket Desert Strider boots. Now that being said, the equipment find on this one is not that great. The equipment find on this one's pretty good though, 41% out of 45. Yeah, and also it has 9 inherent sockets plus 7 personal sockets that I could use. So 9 inherent coils, not socket. 9 inherent coils and 7 potential sockets. Let's see here. There was something else in here that was also good. I think I do eventually find like a really strong axe in this once I start continuing to recycle gear. But yeah, I would go ahead and just recommend go ahead and do it. There's no point in waiting. You might as well get the benefit now. And if anything, it'll make your save and load of the game faster. I, as a player, am on day 40 right now, but I loaded an earlier save on day 38. Yeah, I'm still getting things lost or disappearing.
This island is cursed.
Yes, it is, Leia. These are not items I particularly care about, and there's no way I'm loading 2 days worth of farming resources where I kill boss, look at the drops, and then load the game. 2 days worth of doing that to get these items back. So this Doberman was just a collector item that I put. It has a durability decrement of minus 100%. It does decrease durability even when I fire it, so it probably just means it lasts twice as long. It doesn't mean that I can hold down the fire button forever. This axe is gone. It's totally a random axe I put up on the wall, just to indicate that this is for companion tools. Right now, as of this day, the level 6 yellow shield with absolutely no properties whatsoever. I thought, oh wow, this is so useless. I'm gonna hang it up. And I hung it up behind this guillotine. There's no way I can accidentally have grabbed it because I can't even reach it. I have to build a stairway if I want to actually go back and pick it up. So that's already gone on this save. But yeah, when I say 2 days of farming, what I mean is the in-game timer. It obviously doesn't continue when you're loading the game. So I'm farming a boss non-stop, not only for an entire in-game of 2-day timer, but all the load that goes with it. So I only get the best stuff. Yeah, there's no way I'm loading and getting loading that just to get my Doberman minus 100% back. The reason I'm bringing all of this up is I really hate that my items are just disappearing. I really don't like that. I have no idea why. They just do. And it frustrates me because I spend a lot of time prepping up my items and getting them ready. Alright, let's go ahead and load back to our current day. Okay, it is the night of the 39th, and I call it the day 40 wave because that's when it ticks over, when the spawn appears. For one of our quests, we were required to build the railgun. And to complete this whole quest line, we needed to build 25 wind generators and solar panels in addition to what we already had, because doing anything before the quest is triggered means no progression on it, which is fine. You can always build one generator over and over and over, but I decided the game thinks I need 25 wind generators, 25 solar generators to power this railgun. They're kind of right. So this is what we get. It is hooked up to traps since our character is incapable of creating wires that extend beyond 25 meters. So it is easier for him to build a titanium machine that can crush people to death than it is to make a longer wire. So it's hooked up to traps in the unlikely event zombies spawn or get up here somehow. Because this building right there, next to it, was where we had found that screamer a long time ago. And he was still there for quite a while until I finally built stairs up to kill him. And then, of course, mallets to knock anything down if it were to get over. And a door. Again, this is in the unlikely event something were to happen. I needed some way to carry the energy across, so I thought I probably would put a trap here anyways. I might as well make some traps somewhat useful for an actual defense if it ever came to it. So those wires lead to... Whoops, that's a fishing pole. That's not my wire connector. Lead to this railgun switch. The reason why it leads to a switch in the first place is if we look at the trap itself, it costs 3,000 energy just to be idle, and 4,500 to fire. The 3,000 energy is going to obviously be a drain if it's on, so you need something to manually turn off your railgun. The 4,500 range, you're going to have to upgrade your switches and levers and anything else so that it can carry that much energy. Because if I were to build, let's say a regular spike trap, just for a second, I'll get rid of it in a minute. This has a power limit of 5,000 once it's been upgraded to something that can carry power, but not everything has that level. Also, while we're here, look at this. This idle power is just 10. And the idle for the railgun was 3,000. Operating power is 50. Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of this for a second. So if you were to actually... What people would generally do when they wanted to make wires longer is use something like a floor extension socket. And this has a power limit of 2,500. It would short circuit even just running the railgun at idle energy. So you would have to upgrade these. So it leads to, once this switches on, then it starts running into this, which also consumes power. It's labeled railgun. Very helpful. It's only will fire at giant zombies. And that control tower then feeds into this upgraded floor panel. This upgraded floor panel, and originally the idea was that it would feed into this switch and would only ever fire when I'm standing on it. Like that. So this switch here that I stand on powers this up. However, the railgun turns so slowly. It really does so obnoxiously slow. And then if anything walks out of its range for half a second, it goes back to its original starting angle. So the angle it's currently at is not very good. I'm going to go and tear down some of these walls to make it easier to fire. If you were to disconnect stuff like this that I'm doing, you'll immediately lose the wire. That's okay. I'm just going to load the save that we're already on. So I'm going to just get rid of this stuff right now. So I just want to make the railgun fire. I already completed the day 40 wave. I'm just getting rid of some of this stuff here. Even if it makes my base a lot worse off, I just wanted to fire. That is all. I want them hopping over. They don't intentionally hop over, they just sort of stand on each other's backs. Come on. What I'm trying to do is make it a lot easier for it to see anybody it's firing at. Even if it, of course, weakens my overall defensive abilities. It's collapsing under me, that's why I'm running forward. Probably need to get rid of this one too. Alright, so now it can shoot at a decent angle, I think. Yeah, turrets unfortunately don't aim down very well. At least some of the turrets that we have tried. Yeah, what we're gonna do is, when we're ready to fire, I'm just gonna go ahead and link it directly to the switch, rather than worrying about the pressure plate. We will go ahead and make some more ammo as well. We need copper wire. Disassemble that wire. And then craft as much as I can. 33, sure, why not? Just load all of it in there. Okay, you can hold it max 25. So yeah, when we're ready to fire, I'm just going to go and connect it right in. I'm not going to worry about this pressure plate. What else is there to do before the enemies show up? I fed my teammates. So they're in the front lines because the enemy really doesn't care too much about them. It's silly, but the zombies just care about you. They're just gonna go straight for you. It's part of their script is why you can't hide from them, probably. So that likely their trigger is to always home in on the player. So yeah, my teammates are in front, and they'll just stab all the zombies. The zombies will just be trying to hop around them. I don't even think they attack very often. You see, those poison shots went straight for me. Alright. However, my teammates could still get killed on, like, if they were attacking the ground, because when the zombies get frustrated and don't know what they're doing, they start punching the ground and blowing up stuff around them. So to that effect, I've given my teammates some incredibly powerful gear. Look at these boots! Now, people, they will look at my games, my saves or whatever online that I post, and say, you're cheating, because no one can be whatever. Look, if I knew how to edit and make boots like this with 7 sockets, I would do that to all of my gear, okay? The best gloves I've got are 4 sockets. But people always keep accusing me of cheating because they can't fathom somebody being good at games. Anyway, so yeah, they've gotten level 10 iron helmet that is tier 6. Iron armor normally starts at tier 4. Take it to a mine or blacksmithy to increase its tier, and you take it to your workbench to increase its plus rating. Is someone punching me? Oh, this guy's right here spitting at me. Now, I haven't even been to the ice world, but ice monsters have been showing up. I have just been coincidentally killing the next boss, and then the next type of enemy shows up. And that has been the coincidence this entire game, up until just now, because I spent a long time making my character stronger, because I had a little bit of a tough time with that one boss, you remember? I felt like I was almost dead. So I spent time making my guys stronger, and the enemy has eventually shown up. But yeah, so at least as far as game balance goes, they must have the timing down pat. Because I would just clear one boss, and then the like the tier 3 zombies would come up. You clear the tier 3 boss, and the tier 4 zombies would start rolling in. I thought I was unlocking the next tier of zombies. Maybe I was, but it was just coincidental every time, though. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you the corpse explosion gun. That was a corpse explosion right there. This is fine. I'm not in danger. Actually, that kind of helps, because I would have trouble jumping over my teammates. So, the way the corpse explosion works is if you've ever played Diablo, in that game, you would target corpses that were on the floor, thus the name, corpse, and then it would do damage to everybody around it based off of that character's health. Well, in this game, you don't target corpses that are on the floor, you target zombies, or enemies anyways, and then when they die, they have a 66% chance to explode, according to my gun. My gun could have as high as a 75% chance, I rolled a 66. So if he explodes, he does damage to everybody. Now that didn't look that impressive, but if that explosion makes another guy explode, it could chain react. So I'm going to try to get several of them chasing me. The giants generally appear after the hour has ticked over to hour 1. So we still got time before I have to worry about my railgun. But I need some more zombies, so that way we can really start racking up these corpse explosions. Right now it's not going to be that impressive because, you know, area affects abilities on one unit. Not that big. But what if I had like 12 zombies or something? Where are all the zombies? Here's some more. I just saw 2 more stroll in, but there's the rest. Yeah, I'm not even sprinting. My character, this is just a light jog right now. And so that was a 2 explosion, and you can see that a lot of the zombies are gone now. Let's wait for a few more to pack up. So if you look at the bottom right of the screen, you'll see number 5. That is David Wright's arm. That is a shoulder pauldron. It will replace my necklace, and when I attack, I have a 15% chance to summon an airstrike. A laser beam will appear from on high. That beam does no damage. It's just like a pointer, a marker. Like Dawn of War or Gears of War kind of thing. Let's go ahead and take another shot. Come on, none of those exploded. That's fine, 66% chance. Yeah, my character could literally do this until hour 6. I just ate all those foods before the wave started. But yeah, it's a 15% chance to summon an airstrike. You can combine that with the corpse explosion, but I'm showing you one item at a time so that we know what's going on. I haven't seen that dude yet. That's a scientist zombie. I only know because I bought some of his skins at the clothing store. Okay, here comes another wave. Try going first person view, that might be easier. Come on. I did this once before without hitting the record button, so I did the whole night. It's like, oh no, I didn't hit the record button. Because the game takes a long time to load, I try to remember to hit the record button once the game has finished loading. That way it's not 3 minutes of footage of the loading screen. And I did the night, and I said, oh, that's a good recording. I get so much good stuff. It's like, nope, no you didn't. You didn't record, noob. But yeah, there would be like 12 explosions on the, just random pot shots. But so far, I haven't gotten any explosions. All right, this is a nice, good cluster. That was about like 20 explosions right there. All right, let's go and activate the Airstriker. So now it's on my shoulder. You can see that it's there. Even though it looks like there's another gun on it, the gun doesn't do anything. Maybe that's the airstrike component of it. But I feel like the arm would look cooler if it didn't have a stupid gun on it. So, corpse explosion and airstrike can feed into each other and do a huge chain reaction. So that was a double explosion right there. Not impressive, but at least I'm trying to show you that it can happen. Melee strikes can also make this thing kick off, but blessedly, or fortunately, or however you want to phrase it, if you have the arm equipped, you have some explosion resistance as a result. They managed to get it to trigger, but it didn't do any damage to me because I have 100% explosion resistance right now. That would make me frosted, but I also have 100% cold resistance right now, thanks to my food. But yeah, I believe having the Vital Stinger equipped at the same time as the Airstriker was getting my teammates killed, because they were at full health, and during I just let the game run, recording it, trying to figure out what was going on, and then I would analyze it frame by frame. Full health down to nothing right during an airstrike. This will airstrike inside my own base, and if you do it inside buildings or caves, it'll just hit the roof of the cave. I'm gonna go ahead and equip the pauldron now. I'm not worried about the damage because these are metal buildings which are resistant to explosions. I'm not sure if that means they take 0 damage from it or they take very little, but either way, I'm not actually worried about it blowing up my buildings. However, it does make it hard to see with all the smoke happening. I'll put it back on when a big wave of zombies appear, though, because I would like to show you a big chain reaction.
I'll do whatever it takes to survive.
Did I not bring any food? I did bring golden koi soup, so I can now talk about that a little bit. Unfortunately, and as of the version of the game I'm playing right now, can I see the version? 1.1.1.13, that's July, the patch from July 2024. They haven't released any patches since 3 months, but my ally cannot eat golden koi soup and get a reset. I can feed it to her, I can put it in her inventory, I can make her hungry, she can eat it by her own choice. I could put it in her inventory and force feed it to her like I've given these other bonuses they have. But it doesn't reset her stats. Now, I can eat it and it'll reset my stats, but yeah, it doesn't reset my teammates. So Grace, unfortunately, I had a little bit of trouble getting her to get parry upgrade, which requires memory. Memory gives kind of a damage to zombies, which was not anything I was worried about. I was giving her vitality, endurance, and judgment. So to that effect, I decided to stack them. Memory, gloves, a cape of plus... Let's back up just a tiny bit, in case I get dragged. Let's see here. Cape of +2 to all stats, a Bible of +2 stats and +5 memory, a ring of +5 to all stats, and her sword gives +5 memory. I've also given her a rabbit's foot knife when we're going adventuring, just like farming core items. That is also memory. This allows me to get her the follower coil parry upgrade, which requires memory. Because this gives a 250% parry range. Her shield itself has a 228% parry range. So when she does a parry, all the zombies in a very, we'll say, I don't know, an appreciable explosion-sized radius just go staggering backwards. But yeah, you can see the zombies they're not even trying to attack. They're just trying to hop over. If they get hit at all, it's probably because they're aiming at me. Okay, let's put my arm back on, and we'll see if we can get airstrike on my teammates. Trying to get airstrikes. Yeah. So yeah, that was airstrike, explosion. Unfortunately, it's just not as awesome as it was in my first try at recording. There was like 24 explosions on that one. And a 3 combo airstrike. So I apologize about that. Maybe I'll be able to show it when the waves get thicker. The developers, I remember reading something somewhere that said that wave 300 is as tough as the game gets. I don't know if I'll play that long because I hate that my items disappear. It makes me feel like I don't want to play. But I will at the very minimum finish the storyline. But man, if my items can just disappear, what's the point? And this is a single player game. I'm not like on a server or anything. Nobody logged in and took my shield. My totally worthless shield behind a guillotine that you have to build a stair to get to. Nobody logged in to take that, okay? It was just like a collector item. That's all it was. I mean, I thought it was cool. Useless, but cool. Waiting around for the giants. I have also, while I was loading the game repeatedly to try to get good items from bosses, I let some other people run in the background who are playing Night of the Dead. I would load up their video and let that run in the background while I was loading my game, trying to get good items. Sorry, rambling. And it looks like everybody builds here. A lot of people in the comments have also said, like, hey, I build there. It's like, yeah, cool. We all build here. This is the only place that's unique here. I'm sorry, that's not unique. Like, the police station's also kind of a unique building, but no, this is remarkably, I guess, more unique, if that's even a word. Like, that building right there is all over the place. It's in several towns, in multiple instances in the same town. I've not seen another King's Wash. But this one, I've never seen anything built of any building like this so far. I'm not absolutely not making fun of anybody who shared with me that said they built here. I think that's cool. It was a cool experience to know that, hey, other people also agreed that this was the place to build. My only gripe about it is that zombies will still spawn even when you're here. So I turned off zombie respawns because I just don't like that. Zombies do not magically appear. That's what's supposed to make them ghastly and horrifying, is that they're supposed to be people. They used to have hopes and dreams, and they could be even your loved ones. This is not a thing where they just, like, if you turn around and close your eyes and then open your eyes again, oh look, zombie. All right, hour 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and trigger this. That's very slow to turn. So it's gonna need to really look at someone before they get to the wall. Because the closest I've ever gotten to firing it earlier was when a giant was punching this one because they couldn't figure their way past my guillotine over there. You can kind of see the purple guy over there in that distance. So I guess the first shot missed, but the second shot hit him, and now he's stunned. It's the purple guy right there. The minigun is aiming at it if you're still having trouble seeing him. That's like 4 shots, right? You still haven't killed him. I think it killed my teammates. Well, I wasn't going to keep it anyways, but we can see that they're... Oh, no, I was trying to pick up things. So this is what it looks like when a teammate's down. We're not going to keep this progression anyway, so in our playthrough, Grace, Kimberly, and Leia will have never actually fallen. I dismantled my defenses just to allow my railgun to fire. But it is definitely not in a good spot. I don't know where else to put it right now. I mean, like, I just shot that dude a couple times in the chest and he died. The railgun does... not worth it. Looks cool, but not worth it. By itself, anyways. Maybe if I had a whole line of them, sure. Alright, so I think that's everything I wanted to get you up to speed on. So we'll go and continue the game from the day 40 save instead of playing out the rest of the night.